Hello everyone, welcome back to Flight Sim World once again. My name is jfavignano, and I bet you didn't think I would be coming back to this game. However, I decided to give it another shot. I haven't given up on it completely. I've been flying it during the week and see what it's all about, especially over the weekend. And with that said, I decided to take the logic of the settings I used to use for FSX. Since this is essentially FSX and the ESP platform, I decided let's take the NVIDIA Inspector settings and move these over to this application instead. I will have a link in the description below if you would like to try out these NVIDIA Inspector settings, as well as NVIDIA Inspector itself. What that does is it allows you to manipulate different graphical options based on the application. So we're going to fly this Piper. We're probably going to take up the Seneca V. I've been getting a lot of requests for that in the last video where they wanted to see that. So we're probably going to do that as well. We're sitting here on the ramp in Juneau, Alaska, and we are roughly, you know, jumping from 60 to 80 frames per second. Sometimes it jumps down into the 45s. I have no idea what that is about because we have nothing going on here but an airplane just running its engine, and all the scenery behind it has been drawn in. With that said, let's hop up into the cockpit. Now, one thing I did notice with the Piper is that the interior shakes around a little bit. Remember, these airplanes in Flight Sim World have AccuFeel, which is an A2A product pretty much, and it allows the airplane to kind of be alive. You know, it shakes, it moves. You can see the needles moving around. Now, I didn't notice that in the Diamond Katana at all, so I think it's only going to be prevalent in certain airplanes. But the Super Cub is an awesome airplane, and I think, you know, it suits Alaska flying for the most part. I'll be using the VKB Sim Gladiator 2 stick today for doing some flight stick time, and we also have a hat switch so we can freely look around, which is quite nice. You're still going to get some screen tearing though. I do have it on adaptive VSync. Like I said, I was going to show you the settings, and the only thing in the NVIDIA Inspector settings I didn't do was I didn't go with the VSync options they had. I have VSync on, but I have it set to adaptive. All right, let's go ahead and add a little bit of power here. With the trick to tail draggers is all about adding that power nice and slow and maintaining the same view outside. There we go, like that. And we are basically already in the air. It doesn't take much to get this thing in the air. Not at the slightest. All right, I think we can go down on our trim a little bit here. Whoa, hello, buddy. There we go. And this thing is absolutely beautifully modeled. I did end up bumping the graphics to ultra, and that might be why we're seeing such, you know, variable frame rates like this. But look up here. That's modeled there, the fuel indicator, little headset jack there. There's OAT, the outside air temperature, and so on and so forth. We're just going to kind of fly around the Alaska area and show you what the mesh is like in Flight Sim World. And while we're flying out here, I can kind of give you my opinions on, you know, my first impression was, you know, I wasn't going to recommend it to anybody, and I still stand by that. I won't recommend it to somebody. However, if you know, got Flight Sim School, Flight School, it's so many Flight Sim World, Flight School, so many of those all thrown together. But if you got Flight School, you got Flight Sim World for free. It came with it. Like I said, you know, that Flight School is packaged in Flight Sim World. So with that said, you have nothing to lose. And I think that it's a great simulator for somebody who doesn't want to sit there and spend the time tweaking their FSX file. You know, they learned in Flight Sim School, or in Flight School. God, I'm never going to get that. I'm never going to get that. They learned in that, and they want to graduate from that into this. And I think that this works out perfectly for that. You know, you get the world to explore. You get used to point A to B flying, and pretty much anything that Flight School did not give you. You know what I mean? So with that said, that's the Stevens channel up there. I'm going to go ahead and turn around here. But with that said, you know, I can't sit here and bash the sim. It looks pretty good up here in Alaska. It doesn't look too bad at all. I mean, it's not groundbreaking. It is FSX with Orbix, FTX Global, scenery, and yeah, so on and so forth. It's not anything special to me. But I do understand its role in the marketplace. You know, they wanted people to have something after learning in flight sim or in flight school. So that is the main reason why I think that it is a good product for those people that learned on this platform. But that doesn't mean that you can't graduate and move on to different simulators, you know what I mean? It really doesn't. We're sitting here cruising. We're gonna get back up to about 2,000 feet. One thing we haven't done is tried the stall characteristics of these airplanes with AccuFuel in them. And I do want to do that today, so we're gonna keep climbing up here. We're gonna probably go up to about 3,000 feet towards the Gastineau Channel, and we're going to go ahead and try to do some stalls. The ground scenery, you know, the textures look all right, you know. The snow and all that stuff on the mountains, I mean, that's cool, but it's not very detailed. You can see some of the auto-gen right there. You see some ground vehicles moving around on Juneau right there at the main airport, which is pretty cool. Get a little bit of a zoom out here. There we go. Back in. I can never get the view to reset on the hat switch. It's like pretty much impossible for me to do. Let's go to the outside view and have a look around. I do like the dynamic camera. Some people don't like it. I actually like it. I think it gives you that air-to-air kind of feel, you know? It can be somewhat boxed as far as like the movements of the camera, but for the most part, it's really not too bad. You're taking screenshots and stuff, and when you move around, the airplane seems like it's independent from the camera itself, and I do enjoy that. That is actually a pretty cool thing. There's our nice little view from the tower. 2,500. We want to get up on 3,000 feet so we can have plenty of time to do stalls, as well as we're going to try a spin. Your engine is losing power because of the mixture. You control X and that'll auto mixture it so we don't have to mess with it ourselves, so that's pretty cool. One thing with this airplane, I haven't been able to shut it down completely and refire it without hitting Control E. That's one thing that's really missing in Flight Sim World, is that we can't cold and dark these things like you normally would in FSX or something like that. And I can see the reason why they haven't done that yet. I think they will in the future, but you know, it's that whole graduation process from flight school. All right, we're going to be leveling up. We already did. I was talking. We went 100 above our altitude here, but let's do a power off stall. So let's slow this puppy down. We'll dump our flaps in and all that good stuff once we get into range. So airplane bleeds a lot of speed off in this one in particular. Here they come there. We'll go flaps. There we go, and flaps are down. We're gonna keep that nose up about right here. We're gonna bring that nose, oh, it's buffeting. Look at that, it's buffeting. So we're gonna get that airspeed up. I wanna get about 60 knots here, and then we're gonna, right here, start pulling back and see how it stalls. There's the buffet. And it didn't really stall yet. We're dropping our altitude like crazy, but no stall. No. Controls are mush, complete mush. I can't turn it left or right. Okay. So that wasn't terrible. That wasn't terrible. Let's bring the flaps in here. They're up. Add that full power, and let's do a power on stall. We still have a lot of altitude, so this will be perfect. And as we go up, we should have to add that rudder to the right, just slightly, not very much. We're gonna do a power on stall here. No, I don't even really have, oh, there it is. Yeah, you do have to step on the ball a little bit there to the right, not too much. All right, and now we're gonna stall the airplane with the angle of attack. And there's the buffet. And it's the left wing stalled. That was actually pretty good. That was pretty good, not bad at all. Let's try a spin now. We're gonna do a spin to the right, and we're gonna counteract it by neutralizing the controls and opposite rudder. So let's get our speed back up. Let's get some altitude for a spin. You're going to be basically pointing down to the ground. So we're gonna climb up to about, I don't know, 4,000 feet or so here for this. And let's go ahead and turn back around towards the airport while we're doing that. Keep an eye on our airspeed, make sure we're not going to get into a stall, which we're not. We're doing good so far. Very, very impressed with the stall characteristics though. That's actually pretty good. And you know, stemming off of flight school and you're learning about stalls and all that stuff, it's good to see that, because in the real airplanes, you're going to get that shaking. You're going to get those feelings that you can't get in a flight sim. So the help of AccuFuel there really is nice. We'll go up to about 3,500. No, I think we're still going to go up to 4,000 for this spin. I think that'll be for the best. I really do. So a spin is basically a power on stall, and then once you get to the top of the stall, you just kick the rudder to start the spin, and then counteract it, you know, with neutral controls, because don't do what Tom Cruise did in the flat spin of Top Gun, and that's, you know, shaking the whole stick around, because that actually makes the stall worse, or the spin worse, and you're not, you know, you're not fixing the issue. Let's not even get into the discrepancies of the inaccuracies of Top Gun, even though I do love that movie. All right, we're at 4,000 feet. We're going to turn back around, and we're going to get ready and set up for a spin. It's going to be downright scary. I will be honest. But I'd rather do a spin over the ocean than over the mountains. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and do slow the airplane down here. Just like this. We're going to get into that white arc area. And once we get into about 60 knot range, we're going to add that power to 2,200 RPM. Or actually, we're going to do a full power on stall. Well, we're not doing power. We're going to do a spin. So here's that. Add that power on, up we go. Add that right rudder. We're going to do a spin to the right. The airplane wants to naturally go to the left on the stall brake here. So let's see how it works. Keep coming up. Looking good. Almost that buffet. There's the buffeting of the wing. And we have a wing stall right. And there's the spin right there. Woo! We counteract it with that left rudder, break the stall, and we're good. Let's try another one. We didn't lose too much altitude on that one, but I also forgot to kill the power. We left the power in, so that was incorrect. But man, that sucker spun pretty good, didn't it? Yes, it did. All right, let's go ahead and face this way, off to the west, and we'll do let's pull the power, and we'll do a spin to the left this time, and we're gonna see how many revolutions we can get. Here's 70 knots right there. We're getting closer to 60. So here's 60. You're gonna add that power in there, and then add that right rudder because we have to counteract the P factor. Looking good. And we're gonna do a spin to the left here. And I'm gonna kill the power whenever I get to the stall. I forgot to do that last time. Here come the buffets right there. And there's the spin. We are straight down. We get counteract it with the right rudder, neutral, and break the stall without over stressing the airframe, which we pretty much close to damn well did there. That was crazy. Let's actually watch a replay of that. That'll be pretty cool to see. Here it is from the outside view of what a spin looks like. And you're actually going to get a really good view of it because of the way they do their camera view work here. So there we are at the top, trying to get that wing to buffet, and it started to. That's where we had that power, and then when we did, we had to add that, you know, that rudder there. And you can see the right rudder we're using there to counteract that P factor as we climb. So it gets to the top of the spin, and then it's going to just kick it right on over. And that should be pretty cool to see from the ground view here. There it is right there. And we kicked it on over, and it was gone. Look at that. That's a spin right there. And we just came right on out of it. Had a little bit too much airspeed. I let it go around too many times there, but for the most part, not too shabby. Not too bad at all. And we can hit continue. And let's go ahead and head back to the airport. Now, we're going to do a forward slip down to the airport since we don't have flaps in. And we want to get down. You go right rudder and you counteract the way you want to go with your aileron. Now, in this Super Cub, you have so much rudder. I'm just going to go half rudder. There we go. And look, our airspeed is looking great right around the 70 mark. And yet, look at our vertical speed. We are just, headed straight down. I mean, we don't have a vertical speed indicator in here, but you can just see on the altimeter how fast we're dropping, which is a real nice thing to have when you're doing a forward slip. A little bit more rudder there. There we go. Looking good. And basically, we want to keep slipping this airplane until we get onto the glide slope with those VASI lights there. And this is what a forward slip looks like right there. Pretty good. I love tail dragger airplanes. I got my tail wheel endorsement in the real world in a Aeronca Champ. I believe it was like an 85 horsepower airplane. It was all wooden with fabric. I mean, talk about seat of the pants flying. It was an incredible experience. And I did that in Winter Haven, Florida. So when I moved down to Florida, I hope to be able to do some more of that kind of flying. I absolutely had a blast doing it. And I always had a question, you know, I was like, when you guys land your tail draggers, do you land on your mains and then, you know, let the tail fall down naturally? But a lot of those pilots seem to do what's called a 3-point landing, and that's pretty much flaring the airplane and landing it on all 3 wheels. Now, we did some really cool stuff where you can touch down on one left main and then roll it back onto the right main and so on and so forth. And you can really get a good sense of the, you know, the flight dynamics that are on these airplanes by doing landings like that. So we're going to do a full stop landing, make a left turn. We're going to grab the Seneca, and we're going to try out the Seneca V as well for this episode before we call it quits. Still coming down on the glide slope, looking good. We're at 60 knots right now, waiting for those lights to change. And those are not a light that's just sitting there on the side of the runway. That's not how those work. They're an actual box with a mirror in them. Add a little bit of power here. I think we're gonna be okay here, coming out of the slip. And the box with the mirror in there has a 3-degree glide path upward, and that light will change the color based on how you see it. That's how you know you're on a 3-degree glide path. Now, in FSX, or Flight Sim World in this case, that is not how it works. You get a solid light. I'm gonna go ahead and put my flaps in. We are in the arc. There we go. We're gonna shoot for about 60 knots or so here. It'll be fine. And we're gonna be right on the glide slope in just a few seconds. Right there, as you can see. So in the real world, that would be a gradual transition to that light. So you'd be like, okay, and it's easier for you to know because you start seeing it go pale. It almost starts becoming pink. And then you know that you're slightly above that glide path. All right, coming on runway 8, looking good, 60 knots, fantastic. We will cut the power over the piano keys, and we will land, hopefully before the touchdown zone here. So there's the piano keys right there. We're gonna cut our power and let the airplane settle into ground effect. Once it's in ground effect, we're gonna just keep bringing it up and let it come on down. There's all 3. That's a 3-point landing right there in the Super Cub. Flight hours log. Thank you, log. I do appreciate that. Let's watch that replay. I know a lot of people like to see landing replays especially. Let's do it from the tower view here. So here we are on short final. Oh, hello, buddy. Hello, hello, hello. Coming over the tree line right there. And this is true Alaskan bush flying, man. I tell you what, we need to get some scenery to where we can go do that in X-Plane 11 soon. I mean, it's just so much fun to do bush flying, land on sandbars and tiny little gravel strips and all that good stuff. So here we are coming over, and I came over those piano keys and I pulled the power back to about, I don't know, probably a little over idle, about 1,000. And then right there, I just cut the power right there. You can see it. And we start to get in that ground effect, and then we flare and then let it kind of just set all 3 just like that, right on down. And that is a 3-point landing in the Super Cub. Let's go hop into the Seneca and see what that's all about. By the way, really fast, I just want to let you know that yes, you can turn the music completely off by unchecking the little tick mark there on the right side. So keep that in mind. I do appreciate those comments about it. Let's go ahead and do aircraft selection. We're going to do the Seneca 5 or Seneca V, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Weather conditions. Let's do. We haven't seen snow yet, so let's do some winter wonderland flying, maybe. Yeah, let's do some winter flying, and we'll do it up in CYYZ. Let's be Pearson, Toronto, Ontario. That'll do right there. That'll do. Yeah, that's good there. And we'll hit confirm. And no, I don't want that. Why is it doing that? Okay. I guess we're going to go there regardless. It is snowing in Toronto. We are pretty much ready to get going here. The frame rate has significantly dropped to 24 frames per second with this weather. I mean, that's pretty unacceptable, actually. I'm gonna see if I can change the well, let's fly around. Maybe it'll get better. I doubt it, but you never know. Here's the interior of the Seneca. It's pretty good looking, but it's just not gonna be enough, I have a feeling. Let's go ahead and add our power. Let's have a look at it outside. Beautiful looking airplane. I mean, it's got Carinata written all over it as far as the look of it. There's that wonderful blowing snow effect there. And this rudder seems dead in the middle on this guy. All right, let's add that power. As it comes to life. Really fighting that rudder there. There's 60 knots. There's 70. We'll rotate about 75. And on up we go. All right, so as you can see, we have those awesome rain effects that this, sim is known for. However, the snow, it does not do anything on the windshield. That's really disappointing to see. And we're getting absolute abysmal frame rate up here due to the clouds and all that good stuff. So that's not really good either. No. Let's try something else. Okay, so we have the Seneca V. We've got building storms in Kansas City International. We're going to give this one a shot and see if it's any better as far as frame rate goes, because I'm sorry, I can't fly at 15 to 20 frames per second in windowed mode even. And we are getting 24 to 26 frames per second even here. I think it just has to do with this airplane. I really do, because look outside. We get a little bit better, but still nothing too great to talk about. That is for certain. One thing I was thinking of about the VSync thing is that I'm not in full screen mode, and I'm pretty sure that VSync doesn't work in windowed mode. It only works in full screen mode. So that would be why we're not getting VSync working correctly. So I'll have to mess with that. If I can get some decent frames in, the main window in full screen mode, that'd be really nice. All right, on up we go. 75 knots. And gear up. This thing doesn't want to come off the ground today. Oh, we didn't use flaps. That would probably be why. That would probably be why. But we're flying out of here. Still, yeah, frame rate is not the greatest. Not the greatest. I do like the land class out here, though. It's pretty good. The farmlands, I like that a lot. Your altimeter is incorrectly set. Well, we'll change that. Don't worry about it. Yeah, look at those. Those look pretty good. I do like that. And it's good to have some clouds around here, even though those are the default looking FSX style clouds. It's still something. But I'm guessing that it's the airplane that's killing our frame rate in this one. Pretty positive it is. And that's kind of a shame, It's a little bit of both. It looks like it's a little bit of not only that, but what is that down there? Is that supposed to be fog? I think that's fog down below us there. But it's a building storms day, and we're getting thrown around by this right here. Oh, that's a really cool looking, it's a really cool land class. I love that. Yeah, see, that scenery looks pretty good. That isn't too bad. As it moves outward, it gets worse and worse and worse because you're in that bubble, like I had said before. But still. All right, climbing out here still, we can get a good sense of, just how low quality the clouds are. And that's not too cool. I do like the visors. They're buzzing around. That's pretty cool. That gives you a sense of that vibration like we've talked about with the AccuFeel. We saw that in the Piper as well, with things jittering around and all that good stuff. But I'm not really seeing it too much in this airplane. Yeah, those look pretty solid right there. But we're still climbing out of Kansas City right now. And we have a look outside at the land class, the ground textures. That doesn't look bad. That doesn't look too bad. It's still a little bright, but hey, it's supposed to be like early summer, spring, it's going to be really green out. So I cannot complain about that. I don't know what that is. I think that's supposed to be fog or something. That is some strange happenings. Kind of reminds me of GTA 5 whenever it does that fake, cloud thing. Kind of reminds me of that. but who knows? Very cool looking airplane. Always love the look of a Seneca. A very sleek looking airplane, that's for sure. Oh, skyward we go. But anywho, guys, I think that is going to conclude this episode. Remember, if there's anything you would like to see that I have not covered in Flight Sim School, Flight Sim World, I'm never going to get it, guys. I'm just never going to get it. Just be sure to let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.